Hey folks, it's Friday and we're back in the Lions Den and so excited today because we're going to talk about two of my favorite subjects, Jesus and football. And we've got a man here that can do it quite well. But before we get to our special guest this morning, let's say hey to our co-host, Jack Rock.
Thank you.
Good to have you today, man.
Thank you very much.
You back at the street dance last night in North Marlowe Beach?
Yes, blow it out, son.
Pictures, everybody wanting a picture again?
Yes, autographs now.
Okay, gotcha. Jack and I may ride out to the 5 o'clock Friday today in Florence for just a little bit. So if you're around, come up and say hey to Jack Rock and I, and maybe get a picture with the local celebrity now, and we'll go from there.
Thank you.
Good to have you, man. Good to have you.
Appreciate it.
I want to mention before we get started, there's one event that I wanted to promote. If we could get that flyer up on the screen, this is a special event. A lot of y'all recognize this guy, Staff Sergeant Joey Jones. He appears quite often on Fox, and I've got a good buddy, Autry Benton, who ran for Senate, public servant, great role model, Christian guy. But he's bringing this event to the beach. So just simply Google that, a salute to veterans. It's a free event. I think it's an Evite event, so you'll have to get a ticket to be accounted for. But please join us for this. It promises to be a great event. Thank you, sir. All right, without further ado, here we are today with Coach Drew Marlowe. Good to have you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I believe this is, you said, second, third, or fourth already podcast today or since the season started?
Today we had, 3 this morning and 1 last night. So
Great day, man.
get it all knocked out at one time.
You're ready to do business. All this is just what you have to do.
That's
You're
right.
ready to get
Talking
on that
season.
football field, right?
Yeah, I am. But this is an important part of it. Thanks for having me on.
Man, I appreciate you taking the time because I know it's such a busy schedule. But look, this might be a fruitful visit for you because what I have here, if you can get them eligible, I think I've got a strong safety there that could compete. And behind the scenes, Zeb Boykin, he stands about 6'1", 250. That's a defensive tackle. So
absolutely.
Think you can get them eligible?
I don't know. Well, I'll try.
Hey, they might last a play. But it gives some of your starters a break.
Yeah,
right?
No doubt.
Yeah. Drew, so let's get started, man. As I spoke, my two favorite subjects, Jesus and football, and in that order. But football has been so near and dear to me for a long time. But I want to remind you, you're very busy and had a lot going on this particular night. But if you'll bring the clip up, you and I have met before. Okay. This was Friday Night Rivals. I was on the sideline 2 years ago. I actually think this one, you might can remind me, I think it was Hartsville.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yep, I believe so.
Hartsville had a great team that year. And look, y'all started off neck and neck, and then you guys just pulled away.
Yeah. That was the game that Jaden Sellers tore his ACL.
That's right. I forgot about
kickoff.
That. Yeah, sure did.
So we had a bye week before we played them that year, and had our entire game plan was get the ball to Jaden. Gotcha. And then on the opening kickoff, he goes out. I look at my call sheet, I look at my offensive line coach, and I just throw the call sheet to the side and say, we're going to figure it out.
You got adapt and improvise, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we do, Zeb, in the Marine Corps? Adapt and improvise. So, hey, before we get started on football, and we've got a wealth of stuff we can talk there, let's start with the most appropriate subject. Tell me how you met Jesus. I don't even know how to ask it, but just like that. How'd you meet Jesus?
Well, I grew up in a Christian home, so I was very fortunate on that. And my mom and dad are both still strong Christians. My dad's father was a Methodist preacher, and so grew up in a Christian environment. And then, the night that I was saved, my mom led me to the Lord. I had a Great Dane named Abby, and she died. She was only about 3.5. I was 12 years old. And, when you're 12 years old and your dog dies, that's a terrible, terrible thing to go through. And was so heartbroken over that and just, couldn't understand it. And my mom, kind of used that as an opportunity to talk about heaven and Jesus and how there's no more pain in heaven and all those sorts of things. And gave my life to Christ that night. So nothing... Didn't have a super, crazy story or anything, but and then I just think from there, I've had a lot of people who have been really important in my life and have helped me grow in my faith and have gone through several different periods in my life where the Lord's really just revealed himself to me and continued to grow me. And the process of sanctification is one that I appreciate now a lot more than I used to. I didn't love some of the pruning that went on, but
Great way to put it.
on the other side of a lot of those, I'm thankful for the way that the Lord has blessed me, and He has immeasurably.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I was doing a little research on you before I got here, and that was the resounding thing that I got, just how solid you are in Christ and the impact that you're having on so many others. And we'll get to that in just a minute. But I don't know how to frame this. I want to make a connection here. So you played at Sumter.
Yep.
You're at South Florence now. By the way, might get some South Florence people mad at me, but before you came along, for the most part, Dillon is where I played. We scheduled y'all for homecoming.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. Now I can't get Dillon to schedule me.
And I understand why. I've seen you guys. I understand why.
Yeah.
But so let me make this quick connection as it involves all those teams. Jack Rock's from Lakeview.
Okay.
Now which is in Dillon County.
Oh yeah.
So I came from Dillon, which is a wealth of football tradition.
Mm-hmm.
Every bit of it is Lakeview. I mean, those cats down there, they play ball. Mm-hmm. You started at Sumter at South Florence now. So let me just make this quick story. When I was my senior year, we've always had great teams, and we were touted as one of the best teams in the state that year. That's when they broke down to Little 30, and then you had your Big 16.
Yeah.
Correct me real quick. Would Sumter been in Big 16?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. But they were still in our conference. So that year, we lost to Sumter 14-7. You guys ran a kickoff back on us, but we were neck and neck, right?
Yeah.
The only other team, well, we lost to two others, but the other one was in the lower state championship against Hartsville. You know who we lost to the first game?
Who was that?
Lakeview. Little 1A school. They beat us
Tough though.
18-0.
Yeah.
Those cats could have beat anybody in the state that year. That's just how awesome that program was.
Yeah.
So just a little bit of connection all the way around there. So Sumter, we've talked. Well, let's back up. Okay, we talked about your relationship with Christ. Talk a little bit about your family, because I was talking with a friend of yours, somewhat, Russell Allen. I don't know if you know Russell, but y'all went to church together. But he was telling me how your family's involved kind of in your football ministry.
Oh, yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. That's special, man.
Yeah, so I've got 3 children, and my wife, Sarah Catherine, we started dating when we were sophomores in high school, and I never dated another girl. She was the one, and got married right out of college. Soon as we graduated, we got married, and lived in Sumter for a while, came to South. But yeah, my wife is probably the most important human in our program. I mean, in a lot of ways, honestly, she really is more important than me.
What I've been told.
So my wife and all 3 of my children, they come to practice every single day. Spring practice, summer practice, during the season. They come out of the season when we're in the weight room.
I wanted to confirm that, because that's what I was told, and I'll be frank with you, I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
So here it is.
We really and truly do it together. My wife loves our players, and one of the things that we do that's a lot different than most other high school programs is we feed our kids supper every night after practice.
Wow.
We feed our kids during the season. We feed them 6 nights a week. Sunday, the only day we don't is Saturday, and on Saturday a lot of our coaches have the players over to their houses. So in some ways we feed them every day during football season. But my wife coordinates all of that, and I don't know how much experience you have with coordinating feeding 70 people every single night, but it is a lot to find people to do it, to get the food from there to the field and all of that. So she does all of that. She does all of our pregame meals. We're actually tonight having our senior dinner. We'll have 27 players over at our house. She's got all the food already ordered for all of that. She is truly. We couldn't do any of this stuff without her. And a lot of people, when they think about South Florence football and some of the special things we do for our players, she is behind so much of that. We traveled as a team a lot this summer. We went to North Carolina. My dad came on that trip. He's extremely involved in our program as well, as much as he can be from Sumter. We went to the University of Tennessee. My wife came on that trip and took pictures, and we went to the mall and took the kids to Cheesecake Factory and all that. She helped organize and move all those, get all those moving parts, going in the same place, getting hotel rooms and all that kind of stuff. And my family's involved in the program as much as I have. My wife has as much invested as I do, and you know, it's awesome to have that because she understands all the emotions that I go through, you know, during football season. And a lot of coaches don't have that at home. Their wives don't understand. They think, you know, well, I need you to do this, this, this. My wife understands sometimes the emotional toll and the just the physical toll sometimes, and it's really awesome to have that.
Man, that's special. You know, I've been in football involved all my life, and I don't know that I've heard a scenario like that. Beyond that, I understand that the community is very much involved in South Florence football. Tell me some ways that perhaps feeding. I'm sure you have to have sponsors and things of that nature, right?
Yeah, we've got some sponsors. You know, I tell you, a couple years ago, guy in Florence, South Florence grad, Trent McKenzie, came on and started helping us with our fundraising efforts. When I got to South Florence, we were raising, you know, maybe $10,000 a year, and you know, in terms of having a program with 120 kids in it, you know, I mean that'll feed you a couple times and that's it, you know. But Trent McKenzie has been a huge help in helping me be able to connect with the South Florence community and help raise money. And he has done just an unbelievable job raising 10, 15 times the amount we were raising when we first got here. He's gotten other people involved. He's helped kind of spread the word for what we're trying to do. And what we're trying to do is absolutely, I want to win championships every single year. And I want to win every single game I play in. But, you know, our mission is to make a life-changing impact on our players. And yes, you can do that by spending time with them, but today's generation requires more than just spending time.
Totally different.
You got to have money to spend to go and create experiences and opportunities for them. Take them to Knoxville, Tennessee. Right. You know, take them to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Take them to go watch movies. Take them out to eat. You know, all of these things we're doing, and it's helping us, you know, build trust and helping us, you know, really grow them as people. And you know, a byproduct of that is they're generally better football players. But Trent has been a huge part, and a guy from the community who came, wanted to serve, wanted to help, and has been just instrumental in the success that we've had.
You know, is this not a slight on any previous administrations? But you know, I've noticed that too. I mean, the administration is is behind you completely, aren't they?
Yeah, no doubt. Dr. O'Malley, he has brought big time football to Florence.
He has.
He really has. You know, you know, sharing that stadium out there. I mean, when I was at Sumter and we used to come and play, we hated it. I mean,
out at the Memorial where all three teams played.
Yeah. It was the worst environment to play in. You know, there wasn't any sound system
advantage.
or anything.
There was no home advantage for you guys.
It was just awful. But, you know, we're 29-1 in our stadium since we built it.
Amazing.
And, if people don't think there's a connection there, they're wrong. You know, there absolutely is. And so much pride that he's brought to Florence and upgrading facilities and you know, not just slapping a coat of paint. I mean, we're building our campus has been under construction for the entirety of the time that I've been there. We're building a new track right now. You know, I'm sure as soon as we get done with that, we'll move on to the next thing. And that's required to sustain excellence, as you got to keep building. And he understands that and he does that. And we are so thankful for all that he's invested in us.
The night that you guys played Hartsville, that we showed the little photo of, he came down on the field with Senator Rickenbach, and we talked for a great deal.
Yeah.
The excitement was in the air that night, and I guess that's replicated every Friday night in South Florence. Good stuff, man. So, you know, I labeled this whole thing the special sauce. I said, I think I know what your special sauce is, and I think you just described it, man. You know, Jack Rock said when you came in the door, he's not old enough to be a coach. Just, you know, you look very young, right? Yeah. But what I've noticed about this guy, and I noticed it in the clip, if we can pull up one of the clips, this is after they lost a state championship. Do not be mistaken. Inside here is a bulldog, but all the special sauce that we just talked about, the commitment. Kids know. I say this. Football this is terrible to say, and so don't follow me on this. Football, just in my instance, did more for me than academics.
Absolutely.
I mean, it just did. And you think about what you're doing out there. You got all these alpha males with all this pinned up energy. You take them out there, you know, they expend that on the football field, but you're teaching them. Yeah. You know, that unchecked in a classroom environment can be disastrous.
Yeah.
So, just shaping these guys the way you do is so important to a school and their future endeavors.
Yeah, no doubt. Our parent meetings on Sunday, and I'll tell our parents every year, I'm not the guy that stands up and tells you that school is more important than football. I don't believe that. I don't believe that the lessons that are learned on the football field can be learned anywhere else. And so I am not the guy who stands up and says, well, academics come first. No, they are of equal importance.
Right. Agreed.
And I just think in the development of a man, football is one of the last places where you can, without going to jail,
Legal combat.
that's right, really challenge and push someone to realize new limits within themselves.
Absolutely.
It's one of the last places that we can still do that. And I think that accelerates growth, and that helps mature boys into men, and helps them be more prepared for the challenges that come with everyday life, and everything that we do in our society now is about creating an environment where you can get whatever you want quickly and comfortably, or you just say, well, I can't have that, and you move on to whatever's next. We want to make them uncomfortable. We want them to understand that it's a long, hard process, and that if you want to achieve great things, they don't come quickly and they don't come comfortably. There's a lot of pain that you've got to go through, and there's a lot of commitment that you've got to have. And we always talk about you've got to be committed on the days you don't feel like it. Those are the days that are going to determine whether you're going to be successful or not.
That's where you grow, right?
Yeah. I mean, on the days where you're feeling it and you can really get after it, that's great. Everybody's going to have those days, and those days are not the days that are going to keep you from achieving what you ultimately want. It's the days that you don't feel like it. Can you make yourself do it when you don't want to do it?
Well said. That's part of the special sauce. What you got for him, Jack Rock?
To give you guys a chance to catch your breath, I want to throw one thing in while you're having this discussion that went across my mind. Me being from a sports town, we got probably as many state championships in baseball
Lakeview,
as we do football.
Yep.
And I've always wondered, because the whole county, Latta, Lakeview, and Dillon, has got untold state championships,
Yep.
even in academics. Even when I was on the county council with you, 2 or 3 times we awarded Latta, Lakeview, I can't remember exactly what team, academic state championships. I didn't even know they had that. But I said all that to say this. In my lifetime, coming up in sports, and Lakeview has had untold, in my lifetime, pro football players to come out of it. And I know my next door neighbor went to pro baseball, a crib guy. I forgot what his name was.
That's the last name.
But I've always wondered in my mind,
I know where you're
why 3 big high schools in Florence, in the city of Florence, never had a state championship that I know of in my lifetime. Now, I said that to say this. Don't you feel odd?
What do you that you've got success? So this is what I was talking about the whole time. The special sauce culture, and I know you're going to agree with me. He's not going to take credit for all this, and I'm sure there's many, but they've inserted a culture now in South Florence. That's fair to say? All that hard work, all the 1,000 of little things you did was to invite a culture in, right?
Yep. And we've had great players. I mean, you can have the best culture in the world, but if you go somewhere that doesn't have great players, then you're not going to win it. You know what I'm saying?
If you got just one big outstanding player, he can win the state championship.
Get out of here, Jack Rock. It takes more than one. But
I know it.
One can make a
But you
difference.
know what I'm talking about.
North Sellers,
if you got one, I'll use.
He don't even know who North Sellers is.
I'll use for the example the guy from Latta that went to the pros
Felton.
in basketball. What was his
Raymond
name?
Felton.
Raymond Felton. Come on, man. Give me a break.
Well, there's only 5 players in basketball, so that makes it. Hey, but to your point, and we just kind of ramble here.
Sure.
To your point now, unbeknownst to you, he did have the best player in the state, which is now going to be touted as a Heisman this year and a future first round. Well, let's pause for a moment, and I know you would want to herald all your players, but let's just talk about for him. Just say quarterback.
South Carolina.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was he your player?
Yeah.
He was. Yep.
Come on, man. Don't you feel odd?
Yes. I feel blessed.
I mean, what if you do start out of the 3 high schools, what if they were to decide to hire 2 more coaches like you?
Yeah, well.
And get the culture going, like Lakeview and Dillon's had.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, what if?
Well, I don't think he's too much worried about West Florence and Wilson and their success.
Oh, really?
Jack Rock.
Okay.
He's South Florence coach.
Can you be the coach of all 3 schools?
I'd love for them to combine all 3.
Hey, I'm gonna reel this back in now, okay?
Okay.
Let's show a clip because as I spoke, you know, you're a big guy, you're fit, your demeanor is clean cut. But let me show you a bulldog, and let me show. When I watched this, I said, "There's substance as this guy's." Let's put that clip up where they lost the state championship and what Coach did at that point.
You have to.
Look like all this can hear me.
Every second you get tired, you think about this.
No, I want him to do
Every
this.
time you think you're sick, you think about that. You tell me how sick you are.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 2023 Class 4A state champion.
You see that bulldog there, Jack Rock? So don't let that demeanor fool you. Describe what took place there, because I admire that.
Congratulations to Westside and to South Florence.
I could feel it.
On a highly
sincerity.
Yeah.
You know, you wouldn't put in you. It was a teaching moment, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, at that point, going into that game, we'd won 29 games in a row.
Wow.
Season before we were 15-0, and then that year we were 14-0, and going into the state championship. And truthfully, I think we were the better team, and I think that was a game that we lost that we shouldn't have. There were a number of factors that went into us losing, but at the end of the day, they made more plays than we did. And when the game was over, I'm going to tell you that year, that group of seniors, they were freshmen when I first got the job. So they were the first group that I coached all the way through. And, when it was over and I looked at them, I cried like a baby. I mean, it hurt me so
Coach,
badly.
I see the hurt right now.
yeah.
I was going to say that.
I mean,
you're reliving some of the hurt right now as we speak.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So you went to 3 state championships.
We have
You
done-
won 2
Yeah.
and lost 1.
Yeah.
Don't you feel odd?
We got a theme going here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's let him continue because I think he had a little bit more to say about that clip.
Yeah, just, when I saw them, when it's over, you can't prepare anybody for what it's like when a chapter of your life closes. And high school football, for most kids, when they play their last game, the chapter of football in their life is over. My senior year of high school, we lost the state championship game. I played for Sumter. We lost to Burns in 2008, the state championship. And to lose that game on the biggest stage about something you dream, it just, in the moment that you lose it, you're just so heartbroken. And I'm getting all emotional again. It broke my heart to know that those kids were that you can't do anything about it anymore. It's over. And so I love those guys so much. And I hated the hurt they had. And so, we shook their hands, and I sent my coaches and the seniors into the locker room. And I told my coaches, y'all go take care of them. But there was a moment that I think as a leader, you have to understand, moments that you're in. And I just knew in that moment, I said, I'm going to make everybody else stand out here and watch them give the first place trophy to Westside. And I want that image to be burned in their mind. I want it to be burned in my mind too, to fuel us during the off season, to watch someone else receive something that we felt like we lost. Right. Not that they didn't just beat us. We felt like we lost that game and made critical mistakes that we shouldn't have, and so on and so forth. And I really felt like, you gotta, being a football coach, man, and dealing with high school kids, it's such an emotional roller coaster. I went from being on the sidelines with them, holding them, crying with them, and just to send them in the locker room, and then you got to switch, and you got to become that guy, right. To help move your program forward. And then, when that was over, I sent everybody back in the locker room, and I went back and took care of my seniors. And, but I just, it wasn't something I planned, obviously. It's just something that felt right. And there was a number of people who were not pleased with it, but, I felt like that was the right thing to do at that moment. And so just kind of went with it.
I agree with it totally. And for whoever was displeased, I promise you had exponentially more that just thought that was a great lesson. And again, you could see it coming from the heart on that thing, which is simple. That's just more of the special sauce that we're talking. We'll talk about a little bit more. Jack's raising his hand over there, so he's got a question. Get ready, Coach.
Something,
because it's going to be odd. It's going to be odd.
Something to teach you and your kids and our audience. You and I are living proof that losing won't kill you.
Yeah. That's right.
Whether it's in business or whatever.
Oh, you grow,
sports.
man.
That's right.
And you know what I told my kids all their life? If you don't like losing, you stay out of politics and sports.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you can't take losing, stay out of it.
Yeah, agreed, man.
Because somebody's got to lose.
So much to learn from that. So much to learn. Let's play that other clip because I'm gonna show the bulldog again.
Bill Payne
this
Jr.
was a that's an old coach from Lakeview, very successful.
From Timmonsville.
You got to let him know what you're talking about, brother. He don't know Bill Pate.
Weren't he originally from Timmonsville?
I don't know. He went to York.
Eating grass on. You know the difference between you and him on the sideline. The bull he's talking about. Bill Pate eat grass all night, and back then.
Yeah, they can't do that anymore.
Yeah, they yank
He'd shake it. He put a show on, son.
Yeah.
And I asked him one night, this is interesting. He always wore khaki pants and a blue shirt, dress shirt. Uh-huh. I asked him one day, I said, Bill, why can't, he let him take a drink, but it was at the golf course. I said, Bill, why you always wear khaki pants and a blue shirt? Same pants and shirt, every game. He said, I'm a little superstitious, Jack.
Yeah.
But he was a character. Yeah. But back then you could get away with the snatching.
Oh, yeah.
Different environment.
Yeah.
Let's check out that other clip, Zip.
You have to go out tonight and prove again that you belong here. 2 years ago, when we were trying to find our way, they won a state championship. 2 years ago, you were 2-6. Right? Their program has been established. Okay, tonight, if you want that same thing, you have to go out and take it, because they're not going to give it to you tonight. You understand me? Yes, sir. Play fast and be physical on every single play. The last play doesn't matter. The next play is the most important play of your life. You understand me? Yes, sir. Do not let them get in your head. Yes, sir. Don't let them get in your head. Yes. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, we stay focused on us. That's our edge. No team in the state can focus on the next play like we can. You've been trained for this moment. Everything you've done for 3 years was for tonight. But you've got to go out and take it. You understand me? Yes, sir. Go out and freaking take it. Play fast and be physical. Let's go to work.
Put me in, Coach. I'm ready to go, man. That's good stuff. That's that special sauce, Jack. Focused. I can't help. I've heard you say it several times. I can't help but think that's really one of your greatest assets. And, of course, you pass it on to your kids. But I see focus in you. Would that be fair to say?
No doubt. I'm actually extremely easily distracted. But, from that, I've learned how to focus and how to, just eliminate distractions. I grew up right at the very end of the Michael Jordan era, and my dad was a huge Michael Jordan fan, but really my era was Kobe's era. And I love Kobe Bryant and so much of the things that he's done and accomplished and talks about in books that have been written about him and stuff, or is that level of focus? And Kobe used to talk about, you know, you've got to decide what you want, and then you've got to edit your life to align with what you say you really want. And when you talk about editing your life, there's a lot of distractions that have to be cut out. And in the world we live in, and what I fear most for my kids, my children that live at home with me and my football players, is just the level of distraction. I'm not talking about distraction like, you know, I'm just talking about all of the different social medias and all of the different things that there are to do.
So much.
There's no time to sit and focus anymore on something. And so, yeah, that's something we talk a lot about in our program. We talk about, you know, attributes of a champion. And one of the 4 attributes that we talk about is focus. And then another one is composure, which is, to me, composure is focus under pressure.
Right.
You know, you've got to have great focus in the weight room, at practice, in meetings. And then that turns into, you've got to have composure on Friday night when the emotions are high and low, and you've got to stay level and focused throughout the entire game. So, yeah, that's something that's so hard to do and so hard to teach, but something that we talk a lot about, you know, having to make decisions and not just letting things come to you and react, but really be focused and know and understand what's coming, what you need to do, and how you need to overcome whatever obstacles there may be, or whatever it is.
Right.
But yeah, focus that's really important. We talk about it a lot.
Jack Rock, do you see the special sauce being made? I mean, just all through it, you see all the things that build champion. It's on display right here as we speak.
My daddy was a very wise old timer, like a lot of the old people. And you're reminding me of what my daddy would sit down and tell me. And it stuck. Whatever my daddy told me, everything still, at my age, is in that computer up there.
Yeah.
Never forgot one thing he told me, and we spent hours talking and him trying to set me on the right track in life because he knew he had a problem.
So you see what you're doing. This is the result of that.
Yeah.
So, Coach, we're gonna wrap up here, but I'm not gonna do it before because I did have a lot of people to reach out. They wanna know about the upcoming season. What can you share with us? The prospect of this new season. As I mentioned, I'll see your first game because you guys start off with West Florence, and I'll be back on the sidelines with Friday Night Rival. So I really look forward to that. I saw a poll that was released, and I can't remember who released the poll, but it had you guys sitting up there about number 4 or 5. But lo and behold, and Sumter was in the top 25. Lo and behold, West Florence was sitting down there about 12. So I said, and I had no idea about that. So I said, man, what a game coming up. But just speculate a little bit on the upcoming season, if you would.
Yeah. You know, we returned our quarterback this year, Messiah Jackson. So anytime you can return your quarterback, that's huge. He's a guy who's now played in 2 state championships. And so he's very experienced, very good leader for us. Really feel like he's an extension of me on the field. I think we're both, every year, every game, we get more comfortable with each other, and the dynamic of, you know, being a play caller and a quarterback is one that, you know, few people can understand.
Were you a quarterbatt, by the way? Tight end, did I see? Or what
I used to weigh 250 pounds. I was an offensive lineman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have said that. Go ahead. Didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, that's okay. So, you know, return him. So excited about that. We're going to be different on offense. You know, last year we were, you know, primarily played with 2 tight ends. We're big, physical. We had 2 200-pound tailbacks, ran the football really well. For us, that's always where it's going to start. But I do think that we've got some bigger bodied receivers, and we'll be able to open it up a little bit more, play with more 3 receiver sets. Defensively, we return, I think, 7 starters from last year. So that's good. We need to grow on that side of the ball for sure. I think we play probably the toughest schedule in the state, at least in the first 5 weeks. I mean, like you said, we open with West Florence, and then we go to on the road to Somerville, who lost kind of last second to Dutch Fork in the state championship game last year after they lost their quarterback on like the first drive. They've got a lot of players back. And then we go to Northwestern, who won the Division II state championship. Or actually, Northwestern comes to us this year. So, I mean, we're opening up with 2 teams that played in the 5A Division I, Division II state championships. You know, and then Fort Dorchester, who right down there in that Somerville area, is always loaded teams. So we felt like it was important to load the front end of our schedule with what we believe are some of the best teams in the state.
You'll be battle tested for sure.
Yep. And so last year it didn't go well for us. We Somerville and Northwestern both. We got blown out in both of those games. But what we want to do is continue to schedule teams that are bigger than us and better than us.
Love it.
So that we can continue to grow as a program. I think that's the only way that you can grow is to continually challenge yourself. We don't want to play people like us. We want to play people better so that we can aspire to be.
I feel like the teams you're talking about are saying exactly. I mean, you guys have developed a reputation. I feel like they're saying the same thing about you guys. Yeah. Somerville, I was started in Dillon in 9th grade, and so I went 2 years in a row to Somerville.
Oh yeah.
We played them in the lower state championship, and what atmosphere! What a legacy!
Awesome.
McKissick was the coach back then, who you'd be well familiar with.
Oh yeah.
Did I cut you off? Was there something else?
No. So I mean, as far as outlook, I have no idea. It depends on so many things. In high school, injuries can kill you so quickly. And we've been fortunate to. Last year, we actually had a significant number of injuries at the beginning of the season, which ended up being a blessing for us. After our first game, we were down to our 4th-string tailback. We lost one for the year, but the other 2 guys were out for about 5 weeks, which hurt us at the beginning. But by the end, they were, kind of hitting their peak and not worn down.
You had a tailback to come from Marion.
A couple years ago.
That was a couple of years ago, right?
But yeah, so I'm excited about this group of kids. We are going to be different than we've been. We don't have the size that we've had, but these guys. This feels like a team that I relate to well. They're a bunch of fighters. They're scrappy. They're mean.
You gotta be. I love it.
I loved our team last year. We had a lot of great kids. This team's a little meaner, and
I love it.
I prefer to coach those kind.
Me too, man. I would prefer to play beside them.
Yeah, no doubt.
Too.
No doubt.
So as we wrap up, I'd be remiss if we didn't mention this Sellers guy because he just made what was it like coaching him, and just speak on him a little bit if you would.
Yeah, so much of being a coach is you are dependent. You can come in with this idea of the culture that you want to build. You can come in with this idea of I want to do things the right way, and a lot of guys have an idea of how to do things the right way. But when you're coming in and trying to change from one to another, it's important to have success. Because when you're changing everything, if you're not winning, even if you're doing things that are good, if you're not winning, it's hard to create buy-in. It's hard to get kids to understand, why are we working so much harder and we're getting the same result? Where I will be forever thankful, for Lenoris and the role that he played. Obviously, he was the best player in the state and truly led us to our first state championship. Without him, I don't know where we are. Like all of these things that we do that are so good, I don't know if they continue to grow if we don't have a guy like him to help us win. Winning adds legitimacy to everything you say. That's right. If I'm any good at what I do and how I run my program, without the wins, you don't get the same program.
This would be a boring interview right now. Nobody would listen.
I mean, I wouldn't be here. Winning as legitimacy. So you can't just be the guy that says, I'm going to pour into my players, I'm going to invest in them, and not have a plan for Friday night and winning and, all that kind of stuff because it just the way the world works. I don't know, it's just the way it is. And so Lenoris was so important because of his level of talent, of his level of commitment. And what a lot of people don't know is Lenoris was like a 5.0 GPA guy.
Wow.
Okay. He was the hardest worker in the weight room. He had the top numbers on bench, squat, power, all of that stuff. I mean, so when your best player is also your best just all around human being, and you can put him up there on that pedestal, there's a lot of guys that have a lot of talent that aren't what you want the rest of your team to emulate.
Right. Yeah.
Lenoris Sellers is what we wanted everybody to emulate, and everybody kind of rose to his level, developed that level of expectation for everybody. And then we've been able to continually grow it. But he was the first, man. We needed that guy to be what he was for us. And, also just Lenoris's dad, just unbelievable and how he raised him and how mature Lenoris was. I tell people Lenoris is an old soul. You talk to him, you think you're talking to a grown man. You look at him and but what I'm saying, even when he was in high school, just carried himself differently than everybody else. And Lenoris Sellers so important to what we've been able to achieve at South Florence. Even his legacy will be every year we're any good. That's something that a certain amount of gratitude that we should have for what he began and we were able to continue.
I appreciate all those accolades on you, player, but I'm going to circle back and say this, where all that may be true. Again, if Coach Marlowe didn't come around and install all this, we wouldn't be where we're here today. It's a beautiful thing to watch, and I'm just getting to know you, but watching these clips and preparing for the interview, man, I'm sitting in front of somebody pretty daggum special.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you being here. Jack Rock, you close us out.
Closing, I'd like to say a few things.
All right.
I challenge everyone in Florence County that's got anything to do with the schools, 3 schools, to try to compete with my 3 schools in Dillon County. Now, I said all that to say this, and I'm going to try to make it short and sweet, okay? In my man cave, I took a big piece of cardboard, tried to make it the size of a page of the Dillon Herald. I was going to go take out a full page in the Dillon Herald last year and list all the state championships that Dillon County has got under their belt. Now, I'm saying this for Florence County now. I challenge Florence County to compete with Dillon County and tie them. This big piece of cardboard that I'm writing all this stuff down, state championships, pro football, baseball, basketball players, kids this high in the Kiwanis ball and all, right on up, not just high school. Dillon County, I ran out of room on that piece of cardboard. You might think I'm lying.
Well, he's going to run out of room.
But I'm telling you, I challenge Florence County. Get down the records and compete with Dillon County, and you have set the trend. You've set the trend, and I'm proud of you. And it was my privilege to meet you, and I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I got a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead, Ziff.
What would a unified Florence school district look like, specifically about football? And is that even a possibility?
Too big, isn't it?
Yeah,
Way too big.
I don't know. I think that I probably shouldn't speak on that. All I can tell you is I'll tell you this: in Sumter County, when they combined the 2 school districts, it has not been as good as it was. So I think that I think it's good for.
Marlboro County is a good example.
That's all right. Coach, thank you for your time. You're a busy man. This is a busy time. Thank you for sharing your faith, your family, the special sauce, which now all the coaches know now.
That's all right.
You'll just raise it on up, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But I appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here today, okay?
Appreciate
Hey, y'all, thank you for being in the Lions Den, and we've got great lineups here on out. Again, Jack Rock and I may venture downtown today, so drop by and say hey to us. Hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next Friday.